the idea of the Blue Bombers that has been created, whether that's even real or not, the fear that it strikes into people's like minds, like, oh, we gotta play. People have been thinking about this since week 4. Every team that wants to win a Grey Cup, whether they're in the East or the West, has been thinking, how do we get past the Bombers?
Welcome back to the 11th Island. I'm Brad here with Chris. Today we're going to be talking about the CFL East and West final. We teased it last Monday. Chris is already getting into it here.
Yep.
So let's introduce it, Chris.
Yeah, so first Hamilton is heading to BMO Field to take on the Toronto Argonauts for the East. Brad, what do you think about that game?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to note for anybody watching, a lot of the promotion for this is showing 12:30 game start. The game starts at 11:30 a.m. This is because the West was moved down an hour, so they had to move the East down an hour as well. The CFL is
Wait, would
not
that be
marking
moving down or moving up?
down from 12:30 to 11:30.
Wouldn't that be I know it's moving down,
Okay, yeah,
but
okay,
it's
no, I
moving
understand what you're
up.
saying.
It's
Okay,
moving
so
up.
yes. So it's whatever it is. It starts at 11:30. The CFL, Toronto Argonauts, and everybody has done a terrible job. All of their promotional clips this week have showed 12:30. So 11:30 start time. But for the game, we're talking. These are from the start of the season the two teams that should have been in the East final. Hamilton has had an up and down year, but they've been the second best team, and Toronto has been the best team. They've been perfect at home aside from one game against the Elks on a Tuesday night where their third string quarterback saw action. They've pretty much been in first in the league since about week 4. It's been the Argos division to lose, and Hamilton's a live dog in this game. They might come into this as the favorites. The odds makers are really loving Hamilton in the playoffs here. We'll get into that later. But this is the 5th time these teams will play each other this year. Toronto's 3-1. Not many times in professional football are you going to see teams play each other 5 times in a season. It's kind of special here.
Yeah, and I mean, this is really Hamilton's heating up at the right time, especially their defense heating up at the right time. They've lost all those games to Toronto. They lost one at home to Toronto. They've really and this is going to be the 5th time they've played. So everybody in there has, Toronto's done this, been here, done that, figured them out. But now Mazzoli was a kind of a question mark through many of those games. He's had some reps in being healthy now. So he's going to continue to be, continue to improve as a factor. And what we saw against the Alouettes last week was that the Hamilton Ticats D-line is, Jagger Davis described it originally to us as a wild man. That was a wild man out there on the field. That came out. But I think that the Toronto there's some great parity because Toronto has a fantastic O-line, don't you think, Brad?
No, Toronto really does have a fantastic O-line. They're probably going to have the rookie of the year from the East, or at least they should, in the Castro. It's a situation where Hamilton's defense needs to find a way to get through that O-line and really pressure Macbeth. Macbeth is a QB where he's really good QB, but if he's constantly under pressure, he's going to falter. He's going to throw those interceptions. And Mazzoli, the last time we saw him at BMO Field, he had probably one of his worst games as a professional. So is he going to be seeing some ghosts out in the field there, or is he going to come in fresh? We don't know what the weather's going to be like. Chris is going to report that to us in a little bit. But depending on what that's like, it might change the tone of the game as well, especially it might lean heavily on the run game, which both teams, they've had a solid run game this year. They haven't really had that workhorse on either team. It's kind of been by committee. So we'll see if either one of them are able to get it. I would say if it comes a defensive game, it almost leans, and I hate to say it leans Hamilton's way in this. They have the more I would say established veteran players on defense than Toronto. They've been here. A lot of this team made the 2019 Grey Cup run in the same year that Toronto was last in the league. So it's a hungry team. They want to win. They want to go back to Hamilton. I'm not saying Toronto's not hungry, but a lot of these guys haven't been in this position before, and it's sometimes the bright lights kick in, and it takes a little while to adjust. So I think the start of the game, which has been the last time Toronto and Hamilton played, Toronto really took advantage of and started off quick. I think Toronto needs to do that again and not let Hamilton take control early and then let that veteran leadership kind of lead them the rest of the way through.
Yes, and I think McLeod Bethel Thompson needs to make this game into a shootout. He needs to really, like, we got to go on points here. We can't be trading with their defense. And I think the kicking game is going to be huge to this one. I mean, the Argos are already a very scrappy team in the way they get their points. There's going to be a lot of field goals if they are to win. And I think that the Ticats, one thing that they need to do is their approach to playing the Argonauts all season has been, and to playing a lot of teams, is saying, okay, we're going to bury them early, and then the defense is going to come out. And I think they overextend themselves. Mazzoli especially overextends himself, gives up the ball a lot early in games. I think they need to do what they did against the Alouettes and take a step back. Let the Argos kind of exhaust themselves to begin with. Let the defense warm up, and then the offense will take care of itself as the game goes on because that defense is so good. But the Argonauts, they need to push past that. They need to score points early.
Yeah, and if we won't be able to see TSN because we're going to be at this game, but if TSN decides to talk about how short of a leash Masoli has to bring in Dane Evans, you need to just turn off the TV and wait till the game starts because that conversation needs to not happen. This is simply Masoli's team, and I have no doubts in my mind that they're going to bring it up on the panel that, how long till we bring Dane Evans in? Just stop. Stop it.
Yeah, the conversation's over. All right,
it is over. But
Brad,
again, we will be at this game too. So I'm excited for that. I think it could be one of the better games of the year. It's gonna be damn cold, Chris, but it should be a great time, eh?
yes, yeah, and we'll give our picks in the odds section. First, we're gonna touch on the West final. Saskatchewan's headed to Winnipeg, IG Field. It is going down. This is the one people have been thinking about. Let's see if those Bombers are touchable.
Yeah, it's been a dream season so far for Winnipeg. I saw last week or on Sunday night when we posted our video talking about Saskatchewan Calgary. We had a lot of angry Riders fans that we weren't giving them enough credit. And if you are a Saskatchewan fan, I want you to be honest in the comment section here. How confident are you when Fajardo throws 4 interceptions, under 200 yards, against the Calgary Stampeders defense, and you have to go into Winnipeg next week to play against the best defense in the CFL this year, and probably the best defense we've seen in the CFL for a long time, with a QB that's not going to just give the ball right back to you, and with not home fans there for you? How confident truly are you? And I get delusional football fan syndrome. I get it. So take a step back, be rational for a second, and tell us how confident you really are.
Whoa. I mean, I thought we were gonna, walk it back a little bit, but you just doubled down, man. But
Well, you feel free to walk it back if you want. I'm going.
well,
No,
I think that having a mobile quarterback like Fajardo will help you against Winnipeg.
it will, and I'm not saying the Saskatchewan's dead in the water. Anything can happen in football. They have talented roster. My whole point is if they come out and play the same way they did against Calgary, where they required Bo Levi Mitchell to throw some bad interceptions, they required one of the best kickers in the league to miss 3 field goals, and they required their defense to make a lot of big stops because Fajardo kept giving the ball away, you're not going to beat Winnipeg. You have to play an almost perfect game if Winnipeg plays to their potential. And it's not to say that Saskatchewan can't do that, but they have not shown in the last 10 weeks that they are capable of that. Week in, week out, we say that Saskatchewan just barely wins these games and is not showing they're going to be able to in the playoffs, be able to beat the big teams. Calgary didn't come out like a big, good team. They came out playing like BC and Edmonton would this year. So this is going to be a complete...
Those are fighting words, Brad.
Well, let's be honest, that they did. It was a great game. Best CFL game of the year, but nobody in that game inspired confidence to beat Winnipeg. Willie Jefferson's down in the bottom of this just pointing and laughing, and I bet you he was sitting there doing that at the TV all last Sunday.
Well, there's an interesting talking point going around that the Winnipeg Bombers, and we've been a part of this, or I've at least been part of that talking point, that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers fans are always like, bah, 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 like, we're going to win. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And someone there was a meme, like on Meme Arbuckle posted that, and then somebody
Hey,
commented,
meme Bethel. Put some
Meme
respect.
Bethel. Oh,
Thank
okay,
you.
Meme Bethel. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Meme Bethel now. Uh, he posted a meme, and then that, and then someone commented below. It's like, well, actually, it's mostly non Bombers fans that are the ones saying that. It's the Bombers fans that are very, cautious and like, I don't know, I wouldn't be so quick, and I think they're the ones paying the most attention. So, and it's interesting because we have Ryan in our comments who's been very much like all season long Bombers fan, and he's just saying, "Oh, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know." Like he's a very cautious guy when it comes to like kind of saying the Bombers will win this game. He's like anybody can win, and I think there's a little bit of a mix of both. I'm just wondering about the defeatism, right? Like you can't come out if you're Riders and be like, "Oh, this is already over." Forget what the Bombers fans are saying, but you
No.
can't, like, once you do that, you lose. And I think that this is going to be an interesting as we go through this playoffs, because right now on paper the Bombers are in a different league. They what the idea of the Blue Bombers that has been created, whether that's even real or not, the fear that it strikes into people's like minds, like, oh, we gotta play. People have been thinking about this since week 4. Every team that wants to win a Grey Cup, whether they're in the East or the West, has been thinking, how do we get past the Bombers?
Mhm.
It's been this boogeyman that's built up over the course of an entire season. And I think really, like, this is the game where we test that boogeyman.
Well, and I agree, and I think it's a situation where Winnipeg has become the boogeyman, but Saskatchewan has not helped themselves. If Saskatchewan was playing lights out football, if they buried Calgary last week, if they were burying bad teams even in the regular season, then look at we're building on this. We're putting points on the board. We're playing good on defense. We got a real good chance coming in here. We can be a live dog going into IG Field. When you're barely scraping by games against teams that Winnipeg's essentially can stop playing in the first quarter, it doesn't. It's not. It's there's a lot of things you need to fix, and I think a lot. It starts and ends with a lot of it with Cody Fajardo. If he's able to not turn over the ball, this could be a very close game. As long as he continues to turn the ball over, it's just Winnipeg's going to take advantage of that. So if in the 6 days he can fix a lot of those mistakes, which Cody Fajardo is well capable of doing, this could be a good game. And with a team as good as Winnipeg, who's only lost 2 losses this year at the end of the year, we can write right off the board. They're playing backups. Sean McGuire, God love you. You're not a good QB. I'm sorry. And then the early loss to Toronto is so far out of memory for Winnipeg that it doesn't matter. Winnipeg, if you go out in the first half and get them down, they might not know how to react here. They got a good coaching staff with Michael Shea. They should know how to react. I'm not saying that they're not a well-coached team that's not going to react well to it, but just their expectations and what they've been told all year is that they're the Grey Cup favorites. You put a beating on them early, and they might not.
Mm-hmm.
They might come out like what's going on here, and then allow Saskatchewan to build on it. But it's far more.
Especially in a situation where how long has it been since really they've needed starters in games?
Yeah, yeah, they're coming off essentially a 3-week bye,
Hmm.
if you include the last week and then the last 2 regular season games. So it's a situation where you could, in theory, see a way where Saskatchewan wins this game. But if you were taking odds on does Fajardo drive down the field after the kickoff and throw a touchdown pass, or on his first throw of the game does he throw a pick six? Pick six is probably the favorite.
Hmm. Yeah. Speaking of favorites, and
And I've just guaranteed at least at least a couple comments in the
You've
comment
summoned,
section.
you've
Yes,
summoned the Riders
Rough
fans.
Riders fans are furious
All
right
right,
now.
let's just get off the topic of Rough Riders Bombers for a second and think about what the odds makers think of Hamilton Toronto right now on the CFL website. This is powered by a betting site we will not name. Hamilton Toronto. Hamilton's sitting at +0. You know what that means? We gotta pick them in Toronto.
I mean, I like there's just been some disrespect towards Toronto, and the odds makers love Hamilton. I think
Yeah.
that I mean, we could almost name the site. We've named it about 6 times over the last 18
Yeah,
weeks.
it's
Bet
Bet Regal.
Regal's headquarters must be in Hamilton. Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
they have to be.
yeah, either that or like most, like they come in and shift the lines. Like just a lot of gamblers in Hamilton. 'Cause
Yeah, no,
they,
that is fair. And you know, all fairness, we're Toronto Argonauts season ticket holders. This might as well be a home game for Hamilton. That place is gonna be packed with guys in black and yellow. Guys
yeah,
and
but
girls, sorry.
yeah,
No
but
disrespect.
like that happened the last time they played too in BMO
But
Field, and it was kind of just it was so hyped, and it was just it didn't. It was fun. It was
but
a fun night, but the takeover the 6 did not go as well as they
they're
planned.
gonna. But do you think they're not gonna travel well for an East final?
Yeah.
Coming off last
Yeah,
week.
but it's hard. I think Hamilton. One of the things that they've done is they've burnt the hashtag takeover the 6, so that it just doesn't work out. You can't re-roll that campaign.
But this is the Argonauts posted a promo, and it scared me because they was talking about what was it? What was the word that they used? It was like bandwagoners and diehards, but it was essentially talking about casuals and diehards and bandwagon. It was pretty much like if you haven't cheered the Argonauts all year long, like you're free to come in, like welcome to board. And they were like describing how they got here in the season. And that was a promo video. And you have such a bad fan base that you're like, we have to create new fans before we play in the East final.
They're just the kid
No,
that
I'm gonna
they're the
bring
kid that
up.
didn't study for the exams, so they're just outside the exam hall being like, okay, we need to make fans.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you here. Let me pull this up, Chris.
Oh, I mean, it makes sense though. You got
die hard or casual. Die hard or casual. Everyone is welcome aboard this ship. And then the guy, like, I won't play the audio here, but he's talking about. Well, could I play the audio? Will that work on YouTube?
Well, I mean, like, what are you gonna play? You gonna hold your phone to the microphone?
First in the East, our first winning season since 2015.
Yeah, the music is already screwing us.
It's already screws us.
Like
right.
we already got 6 lawsuits, Brad.
Well, considering on Saturday, you put Mario Lopez's voice in from Triller in Saturday Night. I figured.
Yeah, but music,
random.
it's different with music. It's different with music. It's a different beast. But
when you have to say diehards or casuals, you're welcome to the Eastern Final. You're in trouble.
Well, don't you know anything about hospitality, Brad? Everybody's welcome. You're the guy. Everyone's saying like, look, I just want everyone to be welcome, and you're just like PC. I'm letting them in. Everybody, Well, I mean, what they need to say is they need to clarify is diehards or casuals as long as you're vaccinated.
My point is if you can't sell out a stadium for a chance to go to the Grey Cup with your actual fans, and you have to be like people that don't even know anything about the team, please come out.
Well, you know who else had attendance problems? The Riders.
Who?
Did you hear about that?
No, they didn't.
People were talking about empty seats. So it's maybe even the Roughriders are doing it. Who knows? But anyways,
okay.
We got
pick.
We got to
give a pick.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm picking him. Toronto. I'm taking Toronto. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Hamilton.
Yeah.
Toronto.
I went to read it.
We picked Toronto to win the Great Cup for freak's sakes. We can't
we're,
not pick.
I'm picking Toronto. And then so 45.5 over under. Brad, what are you thinking?
Under.
Interesting.
It's gonna be a low scoring game. Yeah.
I'm going over. I think over just because if the Argonauts are gonna win, I think they need to put the onus on the Ticats to score points.
Well, in
And-
all fairness, Chris, I haven't seen the weather report because you're about to announce it next, and that might really play into my pick here.
Impact. But I mean, last week we said the weather was a big deal, and doing in the comments was like, yeah, it wasn't that bad in Hamilton. But anyways, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg. Saskatchewan's plus 8.5. Bombers minus 8.5. And then a 45.5 over under. I don't know if over unders have even factored in yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. 8.5's a lot of points here. 8.5's a lot of points. My dog's furious at that line. Apparently, just barking its head off. I almost got to take Winnipeg here with the 8.5, and that's a situation where Saskatchewan could keep it close. They really could, but Winnipeg could, like, it wouldn't shock me if Winnipeg just buries them here. So I think I'd take that. And yeah, I think you take the under here for the fact that is Winnipeg's defense, it can just stifle Saskatchewan, and Saskatchewan might not put up any points in this game. So I think you take the under, and I'm going to take Winnipeg in the points.
All right. Now let's see if your picks equal up to the weather report. Will weather be a factor? So Sunday in Winnipeg, minus 8 degrees Celsius with snow, precipitation at when is this game starting? Around the time of the start, there's a 53% chance of some snow. Wind 6 kilometers an hour, so that's not bad. Wind will not be a factor. We can confirm that. And then in Toronto, it's going to be nasty. The kind of nasty that's just right above freezing. It's going to be 3 degrees Celsius. So not too cold, but it's going to be rainy and snowy. There's a 73% chance of precipitation, whether it's snow or rain at game start. And it's most likely going to be rain with winds up to 19 kilometers an hour.
Well, that sounds like a fun atmosphere to be sitting in the stadium for.
Yeah, it's gonna be nasty.
I mean, yeah, the passing games this weekend might be affected by this for sure, but it's a situation where this is the CFL. You expect this as long as it's been kind of crappy weather this week, at least in southern Ontario, so we can expect that they've had some practice in it, unlike last week for the Montreal-Hamilton game where it was kind of the first snow that we'd had, even though apparently it wasn't as bad as we saw on TV.
Snow.
But yeah, it's going to be the Western teams. I think will be fine. They're used to. I mean, the West is more used to it than the East at this point. But you should have expected it by now. You got to learn how to play with it. The Grey Cup was probably going to be snow and freezing rain at this point. So you better get used to it real quick if you want to win some football games.
Yes. All right. Now, finally, we just like to say, good luck to your team, Brad.
I
final thoughts on the weekend.
I apologize if my truth about the Riders is upsetting Roughriders fans. But that being said, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We will be coming Sunday with another CFL recap for the East and West final. It might be a little later than it was last week, considering we're going to be at the morning game. And it's a little bit of a drive for me to get to the game, so I got to get home from that. And then, of course, we'll be previewing the Grey Cup next week, which we will also be going to. But so 500 subscriber giveaway. If you're listening on YouTube, also audio podcast. If you listen on audio podcast, also on YouTube. Chris just made a new format with all the pictures on it. Looks great. Appreciate it, Chris. And that being said, yeah, enjoy the slate of games this weekend. Good luck to your team, and we hope to see you at the next video.
All right, see you later, everybody.